talking?
No.
What? Ah, come on. Solidarity. Are you using both your logs?
What?
Are you using both your logs?
What white balance?
That I have? I don't know. You got 5, 6.
Okay, 5, 6 is fine. You have a lot with you.
Then don't I need to have his face? Yeah. We have 2 microphones. We have 2 microphones. We have 2 microphones. So you're just
We're here today on behalf of the family of Joseph Hutcheson, a man who parked his truck right down there, right down that hill, walked up this hill, clutching his heart, entered the jail, entered the lobby, was acting erratically, asking for help, said, "I just need some help. I'm not here to hurt anybody." And the Dallas County Sheriff's Department acted like this was the World Wrestling Federation. He was slammed to the ground, as we've seen from the videotape. A knee was placed on his back. He got a knee to the neck. His body started to turn. He got a knee to the throat. And he died. He died. The great question has been,
Well, despite those findings,
what would have happened if he would have never came in that day? I believe that Joseph Hutcheson would be here and able to speak for himself. We have seen deception from the Dallas County Sheriff's Department from the beginning of this case. We were told that there were narcotics in the truck. There were no narcotics in the truck. We were told over and over again that this videotape is going to be a long time before this tape comes out. We were even told last week at the Dallas County Commissioners meeting that it was going to be a long time before this tape came out. The sheriff only seems to be able to do things when the public places pressure on her. We didn't see these officers, these deputies placed on restricted duty until 2 weeks after Joseph died. 2 weeks. We didn't get any condolences from the sheriff until 2 weeks after Joseph died. The precipitating factor there was a press conference. The precipitating factor of this video being released was a confrontation at the Dallas County Commissioners meeting. And now we have a medical examiner's report that shows us that this was a homicide. I mean, let's make sure that that's stated. I want to make sure the citizens of Dallas County know how Joseph died. This was a homicide. The deputies were the precipitating factor in the death of Joseph Hutcheson. We also know that there was methamphetamine and cocaine in Joseph's system. We also know that he was suffering from heart disease. But let me tell you something, folks. If heart disease and drug use are causes for a death sentence here in Dallas County, then the public better watch out. We are here today because we believe that this investigation has been bungled. We don't believe that the sheriff of Dallas County can investigate the sheriff's department in a way that serves and protects the citizens of Dallas County. When we saw Commissioner John Wiley Price at the press conference last Friday, what it told me is that there are some political realities that the sheriff is facing. And it seems to me that she was more interested in protecting and serving herself than she was in protecting and serving the citizens of Dallas County. So we are here today to call out the name of Joseph Hutcheson first and foremost. But second of all, the deputy who put his knees on the neck of Joseph Hutcheson, the deputy who restricted the airway of Joseph Hutcheson, should not be working at the sheriff's department anymore. He should not have access to the citizens of Dallas County anymore. And two, again, there is a real question, the way this investigation has been handled, as to whether or not the sheriff can properly investigate this case. So we are calling on the Department of Justice to investigate the Dallas County Sheriff's Department for a violation of the civil liberties and civil rights of Joseph Hutcheson. Make no mistake, this was a homicide. Make no mistake, if Joseph Hutcheson had not entered that lobby, he would still be alive. Make no mistake, we are not stopping until justice is served in this situation. And until these deputies are taken off the streets and out of this department, the citizens of Dallas County should keep one eye open when they're sleeping at night. We're going to take just a brief second for questions. This is James Hutcheson, Joseph Hutcheson's brother. He'll be available for a few questions. And, the family has obviously been through a lot. Nicole Hutcheson and Ruth Bodner were not able to be here today, and part of the reason for that is because they've been here for a month. The fact that this is still going on after a month, the sheriff is not just bungling the investigation, she's re-traumatizing the family by not moving this investigation along. So again, we'll be open to questions.
James, you have something you want to say?
I just feel like the video just hasn't really been fully viewed by the public like it should be. The bits and pieces that you see. Nothing my brother did deserved his throat to get crushed and him to sit later on that floor and suffocate. Nothing that he did deserve that. You can see the deputy clearly after he gets up off his neck. He rolls up and he goes back down and gets him again. That was the final blow to my brother. That's the blow that crushed his throat. That's why this is a homicide. And then you see the other deputies, when they come up, point that deputy, point him down that hallway to leave. Because when he realizes what he done, you see it. Watch the video. When he goes, he knows he killed him right then. He knows he crushed his throat. That was the end. They held him up. Watch the video. See how long it took when they held him up, when they laid him back. He wasn't up on his own. They held him there. They held him there for, it seemed like an eternity. Somebody time it, how long they held him there, before they finally took the handcuffs off a dead man and laid him back and then tried like hell to resuscitate him. And then tried. They knew it was done. They knew it was dead. And they knew that that deputy killed him. That's why they sent him on his way. That's why watch the video. Watch it. Watch the final knee blow when he comes down on his neck and puts all his weight on him. That was it. He got one squirm out after that and he was done. When the other people came, they seen him and they pointed him, they told him to go. He left. But he's still here.
I think that another piece of this, the interaction action is, you know, we're seeing in that moment what could have been a tragedy averted. Not a tragedy, but a tragedy averted. I mean, there are plenty of medications, shots, whatnot that can take someone who is going in mania and euphoria and bring them down. That can tranquilize them. What that tells me is that those deputies were not prepared to meet someone who was acting erratically. And again, that goes all the way to the top as to the training that these deputies receive. It's a question of the sheriff's leadership of the sheriff's department.
My brother didn't die from anything in his system. He died because his throat was crushed. That's why he died. He laid there and suffocated, squirmed and died. That's what happened. He died because he could not breathe, because his airway was crushed. That's why it's a homicide. The medical examiner didn't rule it a homicide because he had drugs or anything else in his system. They ruled it a homicide, I guarantee you, because his windpipe was crushed.
You know, and again, the question becomes, why was this death ruled a homicide? I mean, all of Dallas County should be asking this question. All of Dallas County should be asking the question of whether you come into the lobby of the jail here or go into any of these other public spaces where these deputies are protecting, do they have the training for your death not to be ruled a homicide?
So what do you want to do?
Two things immediately. And I ain't saying we're stopping, but we want two things today. One, the sheriff who put his knee on the neck and throat of Joseph Hutcheson should be terminated immediately. There is no reason for this deputy to be on the streets. No reason. Any other department, this would have happened immediately. We saw this in Arlington. This happened immediately. And why the sheriff is still waiting around and not acting, I do not know. Two, we want a Department of Justice investigation of the Sheriff's Department. Joseph Hutcheson's civil rights were violated by the Sheriff's Department, which could lead to any other citizen of Dallas County's civil rights being violated. We want those two things immediately, and I think that when the grand jury sees this videotape, I think that it's not just going to be a termination and administrative action, and I don't think it's just going to be an investigation by the Department of Justice. I think we're going to see some indictments.
They want me to just wait on my house and stay there. I don't have to wait on the
My name is Jeff Hood, Reverend Dr. Jeff Hood. I'm the Executive Director of Hope for Peace and Justice. JEFFHOOD. You want Hope for Peace and Justice? Okay.
I have to say this. I'm going to ask. We get a lot of viewer feedback saying, well, you know, when you take drugs, you take a certain risk that your behavior will be bad.
If that's the case, there's going to be a whole lot more bodies on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, look, the bottom line is that we've seen with a lot of these police brutality cases, you know, from all over, we always get to see their criminal records. We always get to see speculation as to what was wrong with them. We always get to hear about the drugs they were on. But the bottom line is, if Joseph Hutcheson had not walked into this lobby, he would not be dead. And the other piece is, just because someone uses drugs in this country, that is not something that we have a death sentence for. I mean, is this Indonesia? Indonesia is executing folks who are found with drugs. Is that what we want to be?
Was there any previous diagnosis,
I don't think. Let me say this. Let me say this to say something about drugs.
You don't have to like them. You want to step on his others first.
To say something about the drugs. When somebody get a basic traffic stop, you might have been smoking a cigarette, you might have just left working out, you might be exhausted, but it does not leave out the fact that a law enforcement used an illegal maneuver to take down a person. He put his knee to someone's throat. So mindless the fact of whatever he had in his system, it doesn't matter. The proof is put in this video that someone used a legal maneuver and millions of folks have solved. So at the end of the day, we can go about what he had in his system or what he was coming from, or however, it does not talk about the facts that we saw in this video. And the facts represented in this video has us standing here today demanding justice for this family, demanding justice for Joseph Hutcheson, because Joseph Hutcheson was murdered in this lobby.
That's right.
Yeah, but if there was a previous diagnosis of mental health disability, wouldn't it go to your point about training, about
Yeah,
how
I mean,
all those officers
Mitch, Mitch, I've said this before. We are a society that obviously is going to have to do more with regards to mental illness. Period. I mean, we're a society that is going to have to learn how to deal with and interact with people who are experiencing mania and other conditions. I mean, the question becomes, are we a society that is interested in making gentle the life of this world, or making violent the life of this world? And right now, these deputies seem to have no training except to make violent the life of this world. And, this guy went in asking for help. Whether he was on drugs, whether he's mentally ill, no matter what, whether he was under duress, whatever was going on, he should have gotten help. He should have gotten help. We shouldn't be here. We shouldn't be having to have this press conference. We shouldn't be having to, stand here and try to just find an explanation for an unbelievable tragedy. I mean, if the sheriff's department, if the deputies had the proper training, they could have taken Joseph Hutcheson, they could have given him one shot, he would have gone out, and it would have been treated as a medical situation. But now, all we got to show for the deputies' interactions with Joseph Hutcheson is a dead body. That's it.
When the homeless guy sleeping under the bench out there, when he wakes up one morning with whatever his issue is, he comes up here, walks in there looking for some help, and he gets a knee to the neck. I guess the excuse is going to be, well, hell, he was homeless. Why does he matter? I guess that's going to be next, right? When somebody else comes in here, whatever, whether it's mentally ill, whether it's the guy sleeping on the bench right down there, comes running in here looking for help and gets that knee to the neck, that fatal knee to the neck, and closes his airway off, crushes his throat, lays there and suffocates and dies. Every one of y'all are going to go, well, he was homeless. Just another bum off the street, right? Unreal.
I mean,
unbelievable.
Joseph Hutcheson was a man who was loved. He was a man who had a family. He was a man who was respected by friends. And now he's dead. I mean, how many persons in this community have children and family members who have dealt with drug issues? Would you want the deputies here at the Sheriff's Department to kill him? This is a homicide. And that's not just a bunch of activists saying that. The medical examiner has said this is a homicide. The actions of the deputies in this building led to the death of Joseph Hutcheson. Period.
Every witness in this case was discredited. That said something about how he begged for his life. Please don't kill me. I can't breathe. I'm sorry. Every one of them that hadn't come forward was discredited. With the record, with that they slept under a bench out here, with whatever else, every one of them was discredited according to Luke. Every one of them. None of them come forward. Why? I wonder.
That was another conversation we had with the sheriff. What happens when these folks in the lobby have criminal records? Well, what happens when they have warrants? What happens when they're scared to cooperate with the investigation? Her response was simply, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, what if the crucial witness in this case that was standing there had warrants? I mean, according to this investigation, we will never know. I mean, we're never going to know if the sheriff's department continues to be the investigating body in this investigation. Which is why we're asking for an investigation from the Department of Justice, not just this case, but also this department. James Hutcheson. Any other questions? Thank y'all very much. I want to also just very quickly, James will be available for a couple of minutes. We're trying not to keep him here all day, so be considerate.
That's fine. But I mean, that means your life's worthless. We all may have someone in our family that has an issue. That becomes their life is worthless. Hey, he got what he deserved, I guess, and everybody in their book, right? That's not true.
I think the valid point is that a drug addiction should not be a death sentence. It's not a death sentence. It's not. Homelessness is not a death sentence. Drug addiction is not a death sentence.
But I am trying to get to your idea of what kind of training and training office maybe setting up the nation order to deal with those kind of issues. I mean, they get maybe 8 hours when they go through academy.
Obviously, there's a problem here. We happen to be number 3 in the nation behind images, Hadi, H-A-D-I, Jawad. My affiliation is about Space Center. We are number 3 in the nation behind Philadelphia and Detroit in police killing. That's a problem. That's a very dubious distinction to have here in Dallas, in the city of Dallas. Obviously, there are issues. There are issues in our police department. There's issues in law enforcement, and there's an issue in this building, in this county building. So we have to address all of these issues as far as training of police and
I was a little late on the press conference.
everything that's required to make sure that people in Dallas are safe. If a man comes into a county building asking for help, he's helped, not killed.
We are ready for the deputy to place his knee on the neck, does a budget
H-A-D-I.
number 1, and number 2, we're calling for the Department of Justice to investigate not just this
It's
case.
available, and I can forward you the information. Dallas is ranking 3rd in the nation in terms of killings between interaction between law enforcement and citizens, behind Philadelphia and Detroit. That's a very dubious position to be in. That's a scary position to be in for the people. And obviously we are number 3 because there are issues. There are issues in the police department, there's issues with the county, and there's issues here in this building that we are standing right next to.
We want the Department of Justice to investigate this case. We want a complete and thorough investigation. We believe that this investigation was illegal from the beginning. We believe that the sheriff is effective, and we're ready for real action.
He's a good guy. He had issues. He had health issues that brought on other issues. He would have never hurt anybody, that's for sure. I mean, his intentions were never to hurt anybody.
It means that
what he did in there deserved, getting your neck crushed. And, I mean, can you imagine that death is what I want to know.
He didn't deserve to die.
I mean, everybody wants to comment, but has everybody watched the complete video? How long it was before the help come? In this media, it comes real quick, but it wasn't real quick. It was a long time. And when he gets up off of him, they've already had him. The one that had his knee on his neck, you keep seeing full body weight